Well, it was a wonderful series and tour from South Africa's point of view. They were maybe favourites at the beginning, going up against Pakistan, but really good to see 3-0 in the one-day internationals for South Africa, 2-1 in the T20s, and they made sure they won that T20 series already as well. They'd gone 2-0 up. So from South Africa's point of view, I'd say they must be pretty happy. Certainly from watching it from the outside and having covered all the games, there was a few players that really stood out for me. First of all, Kully Leukum. Now, she's a player that impressed me right from the beginning, the first time I saw her. There's something about her attitude, the way she approaches the game. She's quite effervescent. She's certainly got skill and talent. She's got a good action as well, gets a little bit of turn on the ball. And being a lefty obviously offers something for South Africa. But seeing her through the series, I've just seen so much growth. And I've really enjoyed that from Amlaba's point of view. She didn't pick up a whole bag of wickets, but she has shown so much growth over these last couple of years that she's been playing international cricket. And I just feel she can just keep getting better and better. And she could be a real ace for South Africa because she can bowl with the new ball. And she can come in a bit later as well and keep things really tight in the middle overs. And that's important for both formats of the game, whether it's the 50-over format or the T20 international. So very excited about Kully Leukum Amla. She's obviously got some great dance moves as well. And I hear she can sing too. I'd love to actually hear her sing at one stage. It might be interesting. But she's a really great performer for South Africa and certainly a talent. Another person who, again, certainly impressed me throughout this tour, and it's somebody that just continues to impress me as well. That's Laura Wolvaardt. What a player she is. She is absolutely phenomenal. Her talent is obvious. The first time you see her, most people talk about her drive, how good she is technically. It's beautiful to watch. It comes right out of a textbook and it almost looks perfect. But what really impresses me is her discipline and how hard she's worked at her game. She always wants to improve. She always wants to get better and better. And it almost feels like she's never feeling like she's hit her threshold, which can only be good for South Africa, because if she's always striving for more and more, we're only going to see more coming out of her. And obviously that's to South Africa's benefit as well. She seems to have slotted really nicely into that number 4 position in the T20 internationals as well. So that's a bit different for her, having opened for so long. She's had to change her game slightly. She made sure that she's up to a strike rate. And we're just seeing a lot of special innings from her. And then when it comes to the 50-over format, she flicks the switch, she gets into her opening mold, and she can play long innings. So really impressed with Laura Wolvaardt yet again. It's not often that she doesn't impress me, to be fair. She's always on the top of my list, but great to see how her game has just gotten better and better. And I'm really sure we're just going to keep seeing great things. And there's going to be many a record smashed if she keeps going in this way. That is for sure. Another player who impressed me from South Africa's point of view over both the 50 overs and the T20 internationals is Shabnam Ismail. Now, Ismail is so experienced. We know how good she is. She's at the top of the rankings, and she has been for so long. She's been one of the top wicket takers for the last 10 or so years. She's got that bit of extra pace, which not a lot of bowlers around the world have. But what I really liked is the fire that's still in Shabnam Ismail. She looks like she still wants to take wickets, even though she's been playing for so long. It was the anniversary of her debut in one-day internationals at the beginning of the ODI series, and she made her debut in 2007. That's how long she's been playing international cricket. It's absolutely phenomenal. She is a wonderful, wonderful player for South Africa. Obviously, the experience counts for her, but she's still got that fire. She still wants to take wickets. She wants to be in the thick of things, and she loves the pressure situations as well. Of course, she reached a couple of milestones as well, which was great from that point of view. Finally got to 100th T20 international wicket. We were building it up in the T20 World Cup last year, and she finally crossed that threshold and certainly deserved. And of course, playing 100th one-day international as well, which was a wonderful moment for her. And hopefully there's still a few more under her belt, and South Africa know that she's a real gem and something very special for them as well. The fourth player to impress me throughout the tour, and even though she only played in the T20 internationals, so that was TASMAN. She has not had too many opportunities to play in the one-day international. She made her debut, but only played the one game. It's not a lot of opportunity, but certainly got her opportunities in the T20 internationals, where she does have some experience, having played 15 before this series even started. But very impressed with her strike rate. She was striking over 100, was only dismissed once as well, and she scored back-to-back 50s. It wasn't in massive chases. I'd like to see maybe, like, for example, that first game, that was a smallish chase that they were after. I'd love to see what she can do in a big chase. But she really helped South Africa have good starts in both the games that she played in the T20 internationals against Pakistan. And I think she is putting pressure on the openers from South Africa's point of view. Lizelle Lee, for example, who is a fantastic player, very destructive, but Tasman Brits is knocking on the door to say, be careful, I am here. And she's a very tough character. She's had a very tough story. She was a javelin athlete. She was an amazing thrower, has had gold medals under her belt. She was selected for the 2012 Olympics in London, and sadly was involved in a car accident. And then after what was a very, very serious injuries and a long layoff, she eventually decided to commit to cricket. And it just shows her mental fortitude and how strong she is. And that's what you want in an opener, that is for sure. So very impressed with Tasman Brits, absolutely brilliant. The last player that impressed me was NONDEMISE Shangase. Now again, she didn't get a lot of game time, but every time she seems to get that opportunity, she certainly relishes it. She seems to make the most of it, and she seems to be very calm. She's such a calm sort of, she looks so experienced when she's there. You wouldn't think that she's only played a handful of games. She looks like somebody who's just been doing this all her life. And I like that aspect of her, because that's very important in a team that wants to be the best in the world. You need players who are going to be really calm under pressure, and they need to feel like they fit in these situations, especially if you're a player that may not always be in the starting 11, but you get your opportunity, you take it, and she has done that. She bowled beautifully in that final T20 international. Beautiful flight, and these are against players that are used to spin. They're used to the slower tracks. They're used to flight as well. But she wasn't scared to toss it up. And I really enjoyed watching her. She's got a lovely action. She's a little bit sort of square on front on, maybe a little bit more than some off spinners, but I think she's got a really nice action. Nice high arm. She is able to toss it up. Certainly was getting a bit of turn as well. And she's definitely learned from what happened in India and that experience that she had in 2019 with the national side. And I really think she is such a fantastic option with the ball for South Africa going forward, especially on spinning tracks. From South Africa's point of view, it's obviously a lot to talk about, a lot of positives, but those are the 5 players for me that stood out.